Is out his final term. Many are now vying to take over his seat. Joining us now is Democratic candidate Juliette Kayyem. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and why you are jumping into the mayoral race.
So
mayoral. I'm all mixed up.
I thought that one was done. No, governor, and it's soon. Look, I've worked for two presidents in this governor in two fundamentally big roles. One is in progressive politics. I was a civil rights attorney, pushing to open doors, access for women, access for minorities, immigrants. But I also served in leadership roles for this governor and the president in Homeland Security, which is, really about our homes and about preparedness for whatever can come our way, right? I mean, think about the tornadoes here, and it's about making government work, cutting across all the boundaries of state government and local governments and buttressing communities and what they need, whether the crisis is economic, schools, a tornado, or climate change or crime, as we just saw. So those are the skills that I bring to this race, and it's really exciting. I'm obviously a new generation of leadership, never run for office, but I know government very well. I've been in the situation room. I know how to make it work.
Right. And talking about things like the tornado, like crime, these are things that we've had to deal with out here in Western Mass, and sometimes people in Western Mass feel like government can be far away out in Boston.
And they won't in my administration. I mean, one of the things that I am well aware of, having worked in state government, and I'm the only candidate who's worked in both state and federal executive roles, is that the most prepared state is one in which every community is invested, right, is working together. Now, one of the challenges we have out here in Western Mass is not that is the perception that it's neglected, but it's also that a lot of what we can do from the State House is to help a lot of these regional efforts, right? Because out here, you're getting drugs coming from New York and challenges that cut across borders. So what I would do as governor is to sort of focus on, supporting the community needs, investments in the city center so that people stay here, and then making sure you have the resources out here to work across the boundaries that sometimes divide us, even state boundaries that link us, that will make us stronger for whatever the challenges are.
Right, and one of the major platforms that Governor Patrick is always pushing and always running on is education. I understand you sort of share that sentiment.
Yes, I mean, look, I have 3 kids, and I often say that I have the same goals as governor and as a mother. I want our children to stay here and to thrive here, right? That is what everyone wants. And so it begins with universal pre-K, and I actually have strong opinions about where we get that money from, because people always say, oh, where are you going to get the money? And I am very, very critical of our criminal justice system right now. We're spending too much money on it. It's not serving cities like yours where you have 50% recidivism. So move that money to support pre-K and support private efforts. But also, we tend to forget on the later side of education. I mean, 10th, 11th, 12th graders are sort of ready to embrace the world. And the notion of sitting in a room for 4 years, getting this traditional college education is not the way of the future. So as a state and as a governor, we have to support community colleges, workforce development, technical schools, unions that are doing a lot of the technical training, and make sure that our students have the skills to stay in Massachusetts and thrive in Massachusetts for the economy that will thrive here.
Right, and turning to the race, this is a lot of people are throwing their hats into the race to succeed Governor Patrick. How do you make sure you stand out to voters?
So I do one election at a time, and that is the caucuses for the Democrats. We have 5 individuals in the race, including the treasurer and the attorney general. They have high name recognition. I don't worry about name recognition. I have unique skills. I mean, it is not, from both the federal and state perspective, about complex management, but as well as you all certainly know out here about crisis management. I mean, that's when people look to a mayor or governor. Can you make it work when people are harmed? So I have unique skills, and then also I represent a different generation. People seem to be enthused by the campaign. We're raising more money than most of the better known candidates. There will, if there's going to be another candidate, I think there will be. The party is not aligning around any of the names we know, so we're going to try to convince the Democratic caucus goers to come out, get me on the ballot, and then, to be honest, then the differences will be well known once I'm on the ballot. So that's how we're thinking about it, and really excited about the enthusiasm for the race and for my campaign and what I can bring to it.
Right, and speaking of higher education, you are actually going to be visiting UMass, I understand.
I am.
So
apparently I'm buying them pizza too. I didn't know that till we
lucky.
tweeted it out. I
Lucky
know. Look, college students are very excited about my campaign, and the obligation of my generation and the next generation is to make sure that we keep these young people invested in government. You know, people sometimes say, "Oh, the young people, they're not interested in helping the world." That is just not true. What the problem is, they're not interested in government. And if I can make them and have them believe that state government, local government, federal government actually can work and is something that they should join as part of their commitment to making the world better, that's what I want to do. I mean, and we cannot, this party, the Democratic Party, cannot risk ignoring such a dynamic group of students and young people who want to be invested in our society, but are finding politics not where they're putting their efforts. So I'm trying to get them to steer towards me.
Right. So we should expect to see you at a couple more institutions.
Yes. I think we're. I never know my schedule anymore, but we were, we're all over the colleges as well, and we were at where were we? At Salem State and UMass Boston. And then we have a big forum with the 5 of us, and I encourage people, 5 Democrats, to watch, because the truth is there are differences, and that is about